So features, functions, benefits, and results. A feature is, as you know, what it is. A function is what the actual feature does. A benefit is the benefit of that function, and the result is the experience that someone's getting from that benefit, and then the return on investment potentially after that. So what we're going to do is sort of have a look. This particular car, like every car, has hundreds of features. They're blowing themselves at me. They're all over the place. I'm ignoring most of them, and I'm enjoying some of them. And so what we want to do is really pinpoint one or two features. An obvious one of a feature of a car is the steering wheel. If you didn't have the steering wheel, then you wouldn't be able to go very far. So the steering wheel is just an obvious feature. The function of that steering wheel is to turn the car. The benefit is that you can maneuver around things rather than bump straight into things. And the result is the fact that you can actually drive long distances because you can drive around things rather than just a straight line. And the return on investment, or the return that a client gets from that, or anyone gets from that, is the fact that you actually can go from A to B to C to D or anywhere without any obstacles getting in your way. Pretty obvious one, right? But you've obviously got other features too. I've got a feature here being able to push a button, and that actually will stop all of the noise in the car if I've got my media on. So the feature is to actually push the button. The function is to stop all of the volume coming through the speakers. The benefit is the fact that we can now have a quiet car. If someone wants to fall asleep, or if I want to have more of a conversation with somebody and not have any distraction, the noise is now gone. The result of that benefit is the fact that you can now accommodate people in the car and their mindsets. You can actually have a more comfortable experience whilst you're driving. Whereas if you didn't have that ability to function and someone else had to turn it off, you'd have to ask them all the time. You didn't have your own ability to turn the noise down, then you're going to distract other people. So the result is that you have complete control, and you can create the comfort level for the right experience for the people that are within the car. And the advantage of that overall is the fact that wherever you've driven to, whoever's in the car, you've got a comfortable experience all the way through. Let me give you another feature that could be potentially a unique feature, which we're going to go into in some of the next session. But a unique feature, again, is your differentiator. So remember, the sales professional focuses on the benefits and the results. A client thinks in terms of results, not in terms of features and functions. An average salesperson will be looking at this ability to actually push this button and have all of the noise gone and go, look at this button, look how easy it is to apply. You just push that button and all the noise is gone. Let me explain to you why they put the button there. They'll be talking about the technical elements, the actual material that button was made of, everything but what the result is to the person of pushing that button. Don't be an average sales performer. That's not where you want to go. A client thinks in terms of results. Remember that. It's really important. So what I have here is one feature of this car, which could be a unique feature compared to the others if I know my competition, which is really important for you to know. One feature is that I can actually increase the heat of the seats, or I can actually make them cooler. I can decrease the heat of the seat. So I've got a button that's just here. I'm going to move the camera to show you. So the particular button I'm talking about is this one. I push that button and it turns blue. That means the seats are cooling. You can even hear the noise. I push this button and the seat is now becoming warm. So it's a pretty confused seat right now. It's like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to go cool or do you want to go hot? Well, I'm going to turn this one off and I'm going to keep it on cool. So now what it's doing is cooling the temperature of the seat, which means that if you're in a hot climate and you've got a client that's in a hot climate and they want to get into a car and have the car temperature and the seat temperature conducive to a comfort level that's good for them, then you can then say, hey, one of the features of this particular car is that we have the ability to adjust the climate on the seats. Let me ask you some questions to identify whether or not that's important to you. The sales professionals are going to question the individual or the client on the climate they live in, the experience they have they ever experienced a situation where the comfort level of the car has been too hot or it's been too cold, and then they're going to home in on this feature if it makes sense. Let's say, yeah, they have had that experience, they do live in a really hot climate, and they have had the experience where it's always uncomfortable for long journeys. What they're then going to say is like, okay, if I could offer you a solution that would increase the comfort level so that you had your journey at the level of temperature that you were always comfortable with, so your body was actually the right temperature, not just the temperature of the car, would that be something that would be an advantage, and what would that mean to you in the end of the day? And the client's then going to respond to that. What the sales professionals then going to do is highlight the feature. So a feature of this car is that I can push this button and it will actually give the function of cooling your seat. That's the feature is the button, the function is cooling the seat. The benefit of that is that you can now ride in your car and actually be comfortable with the fact that the temperature of your seat is conducive to your body. You can even adjust that temperature according to your own comfort level. So the benefit is that you actually have a more comfortable riding experience. Now the result, that's where the professional comes in. The result of that comfortable riding experience is the fact that you're less distracted. You've got more comfort of thinking and being creative while you're driving. You're not going to be upset when you arrive or hot and bothered when you arrive at the client or the individual's location, wherever you've ended up. You're going to just come out of your car and be really relaxed and even creative or thoughtful on what you're about to go and discuss. That's the result. The result is, if you want an experience where at the end of a drive, no matter how hot or how cold or how long or how short, you will leave this car and you would have been able to think as though you were in an air-conditioned office with a customized seat and cushion that is really responding to your body needs in terms of temperature, and it can give you the ability when you get out of that car to actually be immediately effective, immediately productive, and comfortable with whoever you're going to see. This is the car for you. So we start talking about results. Now, if you had a car that gave you the ability to be that comfortable and to leave after that ride, no matter how long or how short, and feel ready for action, what would it mean to you? What would be the results of that? And that's where you get the client to start talking. With the results of that experience, if I'm in a car, it's boiling hot outside, and the temperature of the car is good, and my seat is cooling my body temperature, and when I get out of the car, I've been able to think about my appointment, I've been able to consider what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually be more productive, and I'm going to sell more. It's going to financially give me even more return on my investment in the future. So I'm going to actually be financially wealthy just because of this one little button that I've pushed. Remember, the average salesperson is, look at this button, you push it, look at those blue lights, aren't they cool? This is a really cool feature. This actually cools your seats. It's really cool. People love the idea of this. In fact, this is my favorite feature. Who cares about your favorite feature? You're the salesperson. It's all about your client. So remember, one feature turns into a function. The function turns into a benefit. The benefit turns into the result, and a client thinks in terms of results. Sell results, and even more importantly, sell the advantages and return on investment of those results.